What's going on, people? My name is Eric Piccioni. I'm an American living in Russia, and I'm at the house in the States right now as we're going through this selling process of getting everything sold off and officially making the move permanently to Russia. But I figured I might as well make a quick video while we have the house and give you guys an insight on just my thoughts right now as I'm living it in the moment. Figured it would be good to look back on in the future. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little sad to be making this move. Now, I know it's for the right reasons. I know it's with good intentions that we're doing all this, but you know, this is a great house. It's, you know, I can give you a more formal tour in a video to come, but it's an amazing house. There's a couple decks. There's plenty of storage down here. There's 2 sheds. There's a whole basement that's fully furnished with the little gym area, and it's plenty of space, like right around 3,000 square feet. And we've put a lot of emotion into this house and a lot of pride and money to get it up and running and really make it feel comfortable for us. But the fact of the matter is, it just doesn't make sense financially to hold on to it, especially if we're going to be living abroad. Yeah, there could be a rental that we could set up here where we could potentially make maybe $100-300 a month, maybe. But the price of what we pay every month to what we could potentially make in rent is just too far off. We very likely will be losing money, so it just doesn't make sense. So it's definitely an emotional decision for us to be selling this off, and it's not like I won't miss it. I will miss this so much. It's so spacious. There's woods back there. It's a bit of a slope, though. I don't know if you can see the decline, but it's not really you can't really do much on that slope. But there's a nice little area right here that you can hang out with. You know, we were thinking of doing like a little patio or a little outdoor barbecue area, but you know, there's plenty of space outside for us to go and hang out. And it's definitely sad because this is my favorite thing in the summer, is to come out with my wife and we'll hang out in like the covered patio area. But all that to be said, it's not like we can't do the same thing in Russia. We can do and build a similar property and make it our own and make it comfortable for ourselves while we're in, you know, Russia. And I think that's the interesting part, is when you have the ability to do everything in one place, makes life a little simpler. And especially with people having such an important focus on like a country house, so they have some place to live in the city for the weekdays, and then on the weekend you go hang out at the country house. And eventually one day, you know, when my wife and I get older, we can always move permanently to our country house and make it really one that's our own. And the nice thing is, Russia has an abundance of land, so I see no reason why we can't build a nice property or build or buy a nice property out in Russia. I have no idea what that will look like in the future. Obviously, we got to get our apartment first in the city, but I see no reason why we can't build our own little slice of paradise, if you will, in Russia. And you know, it's definitely sad. While I'm here, I'm looking at it. We haven't been here forever. We've only been here maybe 2.5 years. So there's still plenty of memories that we've built in this house. And our daughter grew up here, and she had her first steps, you know, being here. And we played all the time outside. And you know, it's sad, but it's definitely what's best for our family as we make this transition and officially pack up and go and consolidate. Because there's really nothing here at least in Cincinnati, that makes sense to stay. If there is any city or state in the country of the United States that I would prefer, it does make the most sense for us to be in Cincinnati, because for us, a lot of what our decisions were based on is like the weather is a lot more convenient and consistent. You get all 4 seasons. It's not as crazy fluctuations in weather, where in the summer in Texas, it gets too damn hot and you could maybe be outside for 20-30 minutes before you got to go back in. So for me and my wife, you know, for us to be comfortable year in and year out, Cincinnati made the most sense. The real estate prices were fair enough at the time, and from an investment standpoint, because we have a real estate property that we get with the intention. We rent out the basement for Airbnb, so it made sense because we could reduce our housing costs and live in a place that felt comfortable. The drawback was we would live away from our family, so over time the obvious thing that popped up is it's better to live near family, and in order for you to feel more comfortable, you might have to sacrifice a little bit. And for me, the sacrifice is I'll have to deal with Russian winter and deal with learning a new language, which isn't the end of the world. To me, that price that I need to pay is perfectly fine. If the life I get to live is being right next to family, having a better quality of life, and feeling like I actually belong in a place where we can have everything we want. Because again, going back to this house, the one thing I've always felt was missing is, of course, family, but just like a place that we can be proud of and be happy with. Because the challenge is, unless you have millions of American dollars, or hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a place what I would consider a forever home. It's always the next thing that you need to chase, and maybe one day you'll be happy. I don't like that lifestyle. So to me, living in Russia would give us the ability to kind of slow down and live a simpler life, where maybe we don't need to chase the next thing, the next biggest house. I think that the cool thing with a dacha or a country house is it can be a project that you can continue to develop on over time. And I've seen some really nice places since when we were in Russia the past couple months, and it really gave me inspiration on what we could make a country house and what we could turn it into. So it inspired me to be more patient and at peace with the fact that we could always turn a property into something really, really special. And if we're going to be living in Russia permanently, why not make it like a 15-20 year project? So that's something that will come down the road. I think it's really cool to see the development of like what we're thinking, because 5 years ago we didn't even have a property. Like, we were just getting out of college. So it's crazy how much our life changes in 5 years. And it's just like an emotional period right now, because we've never sold a house before. It would be a completely different conversation if we had already been here for 5-10 years and just put a lot of sweat into this house. But it's not financially feasible if we're not planning on if we're not even able to make any kind of return on this place, especially since the price of our mortgage payment has gone up about $500-600 in the past 6 months through property taxes and insurance. So it's like it was already hard enough to make the payments work, and now to make it a business, to make this property worthwhile from an investment standpoint. So for us, what we're planning to do down the road, like a very distant project, is to buy a good plot of land, maybe a couple acres, and build or buy an existing property and just expand on it and make it like really cool with like tennis courts and a soccer field to play on. And like I'm talking about a really cool place that we're just so proud to have for our own wants and needs, and fits within the lifestyle that we would like. And it's just something really cool. And I just don't know if that same opportunity is available here for what we would value, if that makes sense. Like, America is such a pay to play country, and I'm so happy for what it can provide to you. But I think if you're not a business owner or a high income earning individual, it's a very hard country to live what I would consider a comfortable or quality life, where you don't have to worry about groceries. You don't have to worry about any major expenses. I think the constant fear of going to the doctor and going into debt and having all these extra expenses just isn't worth it to me. Even if it's a really good country to be in for other reasons. I just don't think that it's worth living in if you have the ability to go elsewhere. Because yes, if you're earning a ton of money and you have a great job that pays really well and has good benefits, or you have a business that's like providing a ton of income, I don't think that America is the place for a lot of people, because it's too damn expensive versus just going to another country that has all the same things that you might want, if not better, and you can pay dollar for dollar a significantly lower amount for all the same things that you would want. Like, again, medical care and housing and child care, like, are things that are very important to me and my family. And by the time we pay for all these things that we would need to have a lifestyle here, like insurance and daycare costs or schooling and everything that you would do to keep up with the Joneses and just live a decent life, you basically have no money left at the end of the month, which sucks. Versus, again, going to like Europe or Russia or any of these countries, you have such a higher amount of savings for the same exact amount of things that you would need, like housing or healthcare or childcare or schooling, any of that stuff. Like I mentioned, it's a nicer life, and I feel like if you have the ability to do it and you're not tied down, why wait? Because my wife and I, we have a daughter. I mean, we have a dog. I don't know how that plays into the equation, but like, we have every reason to say, oh, we have everything we need here, let's just stay put. But at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, at what point is that decision going to come where it makes sense for you to go? There's never like a magical moment where all of a sudden the clouds open up and the sun shines through and it's like, today's the day that we're going to make the move. It's a tough decision to do this stuff. It's not like it's an easy 2-day decision for you to like pack up and go. Like, this has been a decision for us that we've been thinking about for years to make the move abroad. And it's not easy to do that. And I applaud anyone that has the courage and the bravery to get all of their belongings, all their memorabilia, move their family to another country where they very likely don't know the language. I think that takes a lot of guts and courage. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't have that same mindset. They think that there's no better opportunities outside of their bubble or outside of their world. And, you know, I feel sorry for them, because there's so many other places in this world that are what I would consider better opportunities or provide a better lifestyle than you can ever get in America. Now, again, if you are living and working at a great job with great benefits and you earn a ton of money from a business, it definitely makes sense to stay in the States. But for a lot of people, that's just not a reality. Like, it's a totally different conversation for the average American to live a good life in the States where they can have everything that they would want. I'm not talking about toys and bells and whistles. I'm talking about putting food on the table and not having to stress about, can we afford rent or can we afford groceries this month? Like, can we keep our kids in school, or are we able to put them through sports and like extracurricular activities? That's what I'm talking about. And I think the people that understand that and the people that are able to see the other side of, hey, maybe there are other opportunities out in the world that we haven't explored yet or are worth considering. You know, I think the people that do see that are the ones that really do find themselves in a happier position than you could ever get in the States. And I'm not trying to like point fingers and be upset with America. Like, I'm thinking logically from a standpoint of, if you have family in a country where you could have everything that's important to you provided, why wouldn't you do that? Like, why wouldn't you go if everything that's important to you, everything that you value is in that country, whatever country that is? Why wouldn't you go there? And, you know, for a lot of people, I understand they're scared. And there's a handful of comments that come through on my page that are like, you know, they're not in a position, or they don't have the confidence, or they don't have the knowledge or the understanding to make that jump, and that's understandable. But I think if anything, you can educate yourself and you can become more knowledgeable on what it's like abroad or what it's like in another country. And I understand it's not an easy choice to just pack up everything that you've saved over the years, but at the end of the day, it's just stuff. Like we're moving all of our stuff out right now, and there's so many things that we've held on to for so long, but for what? Like, it's just stuff. It just collects dust over time. And if it doesn't provide immediate joy to us, and if it's not something that like I would kill to have, then it's probably not worth keeping, you know. And we're bringing like 5 or 6 suitcases with us, and everything else we're either selling or, I mean, I'm fortunate to have family, but we're really not even going to send that much stuff to my family in Texas. But you know, it's like, it's just stuff. You can always get it somewhere else. And yeah, it might not be this incredible Italian marble countertop, but if it's important to you, you'll find a way. And if it's not, then you'll find an excuse. I've lived by that, and it served me quite well, because if there's one thing that I'm very acutely aware of, is this life is very short. And if you want to really get the most out of life, block out all the noise, all the haters, all the BS in life, and pay attention to how you feel about certain topics and goals. And if it's important, then go for it. Like, if it really means something to you, figure it out. Like, you'll be okay. But life is short, and the last thing I will do is regret not doing something. Like, who knows? Maybe the best thing you could do is behind this wall of fear that you're facing. Or, you know, there's this common saying where the best things in life are behind the scariest obstacles, or, you know, the greatest things are behind that fear that you're feeling. And, you know, that's common for so many things. Like, when you go do that thing that you've been fearing for so long, some really cool opportunities open up. And we've seen that time and time again. Like, every time we've done such a crazy decision to move from a place where all of our family are to a city in the middle of the country where nobody is that we know, so many opportunities showed up. And maybe that was like subconsciously us getting ready for a crazy move to Russia. I have no idea. But I don't know. It's easy for me to sit on a camera and say, like, pack up your stuff and move. I'm very aware that there's a lot of people that they don't have that same opportunity. But if there's one thing I've seen, is that Russia isn't this scary, dark place that people make it out to seem. I genuinely have never felt happier in my life, but I'm realistic at the same point that I will be sacrificing a couple things going from the States to Russia, and I am okay with that. You know, if I could pack up this house and the weather that we have, where it's like 4 seasons, and every month or every 3 months there's like a change in the weather, that would be fantastic. But it is what it is. You know, again, it's an important decision for me and my family, and it's the one that makes the most sense for us. So we're going to do it. And, you know, I hope that other people can see what we see, and there are hundreds or thousands of other people that are, I mean, specifically going from the States to America, but there's tens of thousands or hundreds or even millions of people all over the world that are making a tough decision to go from where they've lived almost their whole life to an unknown place. And the only thing I can do is just applaud them, because that is very tough. It's very tough to do that. And I think there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from some kind of decision like that. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, and I hope to make other videos very soon of just my thoughts and maybe rant through top of mind things that are on my brain. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. And if you guys want to see more of this stuff, like, comment, subscribe, share this with someone that might be considering moving to Russia, or just a different perspective. I hope I can give one person a different thought process than they have currently, and you know, that's great. But nonetheless, I make these videos because I find enjoyment in them, and that's the best I can do. And if you're not already, please subscribe to my Substack. I am doing newsletters or free posts from time to time that just give you guys an insight on what I'm up to. Maybe if I don't make a video around it, I'll make videos or a post in Substack. And yeah, I appreciate the time today, guys. Thank you so much. God bless, and stay tuned.